Welcome to the My Jesus Story podcast. I'm Kristen.
I'm Ezra.
And I'm Kim.
And today we're doing something a little bit different. We're recording our 50th episode. We're super excited. One of our biggest questions that we get is how we got started. So I'm going to turn it over to Kim to start that off.
So this goes back this, I guess, talks about patience with God. Because this goes back 20 years where I kept getting the feeling like I was supposed to be tell their story. And I never knew whose story he wanted me to tell. So I would travel down a couple of different roads that led nowhere. And then would get frustrated and say, I'm not doing this anymore with you because I don't know what you want me to do. So, and then I would hear it again in my head, tell their story. And so, in the midst of actually trying to tell the story of my family, my mom's side of the family, which I am still trying to do, like a continued genealogy, I woke up with a My Jesus story in my head, and I thought podcast, so I don't know anything about doing a podcast. But I felt strong enough that I said, well, all right, if you want me to do a podcast, you're going to need to bring me people who know how to do a podcast because I don't know how to do that. After kind of mulling it over for a couple of days, I told my husband, Steve, and he said, oh my gosh, I was just talking to another friend. She knows some kids, and I say kids loosely because they're in their, 19. You were 18, Kristen?
I think I was 19 or 20 when we started.
Okay, yeah. And Ezra, you were 19 or 20 also. So
he's a year younger than me. So yeah.
Oh, okay. So I use the word kids loosely because age-wise, they are youngsters, but as far as maturity, spiritual maturity specifically, wise. So our friend Jessica introduced me to them, who had written a book about testimonials, and they decided to hop on this crazy train with me. And then we've been doing this for a year and a half now, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm so thankful that I waited because you guys are a blessing to me, and I'm very fortunate to bounce ideas off of you. And especially, we've talked about this before, your calmness and your patience, and Ezra specifically, your not aloof, because that's a bad word, but peace about it's all going to work out.
Yeah.
And in my type A, the angst on the inside of me, I'm but so I'm learning that it does all work out. I just have to chill and let God do it. Surrender. And stop trying to control.
That's right. Yeah. Amen.
Yep. So do you want to chat about the book that I alluded to that you guys wrote?
So, let's see, about 2023, I started slowly sharing my story with people. I had wrote it down, started sharing it, and Courtney, who had done the book with us, had said, well, why don't you make a book out of it? Who would want to read a book about it? And I got to thinking, but what if we created a book full of the people at our church, full of their testimonies and where God's brought them from? Mm-hmm. And I had asked somebody to help me out with it, and they said, that's an awful idea, pretty much. They said, I don't think anybody would read it. So I'm like, okay, you're probably right. And I let it go for quite a bit. And our Sunday school teacher, or our youth teacher, he taught a lesson. God will give you things that are so out of the normal, and you'll know it's from him because you would have never thought of that idea on your own. And after that, it's almost like God boosted me. Let's start this now. I went to him, our pastor, to Ezra and Courtney, and we got over 88 stories. It went from just being our church to several churches across, I don't even know, across Ohio and Kentucky, I guess.
That's so awesome.
So that's how the book kind of got started, and I feel like the name fits it perfectly.
Yeah, and the title of our book comes from a song that one of the piano players in our church, Who But God Can Do Such Things As These, and that's where we got it from. And let me tell you what, that song will get you fired up, and it's just such a blessing. So it was such a good fit for the title of our book.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. If you guys want a copy, all you have to do is look up "Who But God Can Do Such Things As These." It's only $10.
But it is full of good. It's full of stories from regular people, and so that was one of the things that I always wanted for whoever story I was telling. I wanted it to be regular people, because you can identify with the lunch lady. You can identify with the person who sits behind you in church.
Yeah.
And although it's interesting to hear the story of famous people, specifically actors, are they acting? We don't know. And I can't identify with a trillionaire who lives in California.
Right.
But somebody who I know who lives in the same community as me, specifically who I know to be a good, reliable person, that's not going to fabricate a story. I can learn from them, and if I can learn from them, other people can learn from them too. So I love that about our podcast, and I love the fact that it speaks to everybody. We've gotten a lot of feedback, good feedback from people that this specific episode helped me in this specific situation on the exact time when I needed it.
Yeah. And it's so amazing because, our stories are so powerful, yet they can seem so little or
insignificant to you.
Exactly, yes. But when we share our story, they have the power to impact somebody else's life. And God takes us through things. God writes our story in such a way to where others can connect with our story and draw strength from that. And so all of us, we're all on the same journey in our walk with Christ. We all experience similar things, and we all experience trials, tribulations. We all experience joy and happiness, and just the different seasons that God takes us through. But as God is writing our story, when we come to the end of maybe a trial, we can be able to look back on it and know that it is God, and we can be able to share that story with the world to encourage and impact somebody else.
Yeah.
And I think that's happened a lot on the podcast too, where we'll come in with trials or stresses that we're dealing with. I know one of the ones was I was stressing about college and just how I was going to pay for that semester, and just happened to be after we finished the podcast, they were talking about how God provided for them financially. Or another time, I was just struggling with having joy, and just happened to be the theme of that podcast that day was joy. And these people don't know us; they don't know what we're going through. It's crazy how God worked it out that way.
Yeah.
I have a hard time sometimes. It's the pre-conversations before recording are interesting to me. Like we had a really good one here an hour before we started recording that was just good conversation about not so much struggles, but how do you know, and just bouncing ideas off of. Yeah. But when we have a conversation before we start recording, when it's just the three of us and the guests come in, they talk specifically to what we spoke about.
Exactly.
I have a hard time not getting out of my chair and yes. That is exactly it.
Yeah. You're jumping on the inside.
I did, yeah. I remember texting Kristen one night, that was exactly what you needed to hear. And she was like, yep.
So with maybe, I know a while back we interviewed Brad. We interviewed Brad and Jessica together.
Yeah.
And Brad, he said something very specific that I have held on to for just since then. And he said the words, "Just hold on."
Yeah.
And
Interview.
yeah, I think so. Yeah. And that has just spoken to me so much. That has given me so much. It's given me peace. It's given me the power to persevere through the trials. And even today, I'm still holding on to that. And so it's amazing how God just spoke that through him. So
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the things, though, too, is we've heard a lot on the podcast. He doesn't call the equipped; he equips the called.
Yeah.
yes.
And none of us knew how to do a podcast before this.
Yep.
We just kind of did our research.
Start figuring it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it was like, I always think of it like you're standing on the edge of a riverbank and you've got to get to the other side, but you don't know how you're going to get there. And for me, God said, here's rock number 1 you're going to step on. Go talk to Jessica Blankenship and find out about these kids that she's talking about. And then I meet with you guys, and then God throws another rock out and says, step on this. And lo and behold, Kristen, you know how to run technology.
Yeah.
And Ezra wants to do the interviewing, and it's fun to watch you grow into that. It's been really cool to watch you grow into that. And so I'm sitting back and watching, like, okay. And then rock number 3, which to me I think is the biggest one, is nobody's in control of this. We let God take it. We agreed.
Yeah.
God was going to take it wherever he wants to take it.
Yes.
And at whatever point he calls it to stop is when we'll stop. So there's no power struggle between us.
No.
There's no, it's God's podcast, and he's going to take it where he wants to take it.
Exactly.
And that scares me, admittedly. You guys are ready to go. And that's that. I'll follow along wherever God leads me. But I have to admit, it does cause me to rely on him more. I guess that's purpose.
So I think a question that all 3 of us should answer is, how have we grown since we first started this podcast? And I'll go ahead and start us. So how I have grown since starting this podcast is, so I have always been more of a shy person, more of a quiet person. And so to do something where I have to talk, communication is not my expertise, which I am growing in that slowly but surely. And so just with the interviewing process, I have just throughout it, through most episodes, I have just had to just pray and to learn to just trust God in the midst of it, and trust that he'll give me the questions to ask and the things to say. And since then, he's been so faithful with that. So I've really just grown in my confidence and my ability to be able to step out in faith, to be able to do what God asked me to do. And yeah, to just growing in just the interviewing has been such a great blessing. I'm looking forward to continuing to grow in that and just continue to learn more and more. And I think one of my desires is to just be able to speak and to be able to speak to people, even to big crowds. I would just love to be able to do that, to be able to impact people. And the word that I live for each and every day is impact. And we can impact the people around us in our everyday life. We can impact just the people that we're around, our families, our friends, people that we don't know. Just a word that we can say can just change somebody's life. And the Bible says that there's death and power in the life of the tongue. And so we have to use our words carefully. We have to think before we speak, because we have, as the James says, to be slow to speak and quick to listen. Mm-hmm. And so God gave us 2 ears to listen and only one mouth. So yeah, it's amazing.
I think that's been something for me too. I am definitely a behind the scenes sort of girl. I'll always tell people I don't mind singing in front of you at church or something. But talking in front of you, that's a different story. But I've slowly started getting used to talking on interviews. I don't do it as much as Ezra, but I'm getting there slowly but surely.
Yeah.
and just also increasing my ability on technology and what we can do, and adding us on different platforms or finding different editing softwares, stuff like that.
I would say we nobody would be hearing us if it wasn't for you, because you figured out how to get us broadcast. Is that the right word? You figured out how to get us published out into the world. And then most recently, Apple Music?
Apple Podcasts.
Okay.
Yeah.
And YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, we're on YouTube now.
Yeah, which is
pretty cool.
Yeah. So to me, it's just been very interesting to watch how he puts all this stuff in place. Because the technology part in me, I do my best, and I am learning. I'm willing to learn, but it doesn't come natural. So I think for me, the growth has come in surrender and relinquish control. And when you spend your whole entire life, well, I don't know, adult life, we'll say, being in control, being led to think you are in control. And then throwing it off to God, it's not an easy thing to give up. So, but man, it's peaceful. Yeah. So for me, it's been surrender, and then just waiting and watching him move and waiting for the right time.
And each of us have a role to play. Each of us has just something to bring in. And so, God brought us together, and he gave us the assignment to do this. We've been doing it ever since. So,
one of the cool things, one of the physical things that we can share that has happened was we were speaking to a couple of people in an episode about dreams, and we were like, we would really love to have microphones and kind of step it up a little bit, because we use little handheld, I call them little Muppets, because they look like little handheld mics, and you can hear what's the word?
Passing back and forth.
Yeah. When we pass it. And so I'll be darned if Mr. Roy Crumrine didn't say, well, I have mics and I have some things I'll let you borrow if you want. And we were all just looking at each other like, what? So that's what we're recording on today. Our 50th episode is these fun mics and mic stands, and this, I call it the little black box.
It's a soundboard, kind of. It's a mixer, really.
Yeah, that you have figured out how to use.
Yeah.
So that's the technology part.
Yeah.
So
I think God also prepares us beforehand too.
Yes.
Because when my dad was pastoring, I had taught myself how to use something similar to this, not exactly like this, but I think God kind of slowly prepared me.
Yeah.
To eventually be able to use this.
Yep. So it's that. Those are the kinds of things that's fun to see what he unveils, and so then what's he gonna move us into next? I don't know. I would love velvet couches and velvet chairs. So I'm stuck on that. I don't know why. Classy, elegant.
I do love classy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in a location space, and he'll reveal that to us when we have the time. I don't know that I'm ready for video. Are you guys wanting video?
I think eventually, yeah.
I think small videos will be the way to start out, not a full podcast video.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. There's a whole another element.
Maybe in the future.
Okay. All right. That's, there's a whole another element of preparedness that comes with makeup and hair. And I don't know. I feel like it's
you have to
different.
look.
Yeah.
You have to be presentable, dressed for it.
You have to be presentable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wonder how many guests might shy away.
I think if we ever go that route, we'll have to ask, do you want audio or video?
Mm-hmm. So here's a question. Is there anything that in this time that we've had together, this year and a half, that has like surprised you? Like, I did not think it was going to go that direction.
That's a good question.
For me, it has been like the number of people who are afraid. Like the number of people who are afraid to come on, and not even share their testimony, because we're not asking you to share your deepest, darkest secrets. You can if you want to, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
But just tell the world how you know God is real, and they're afraid for whatever reason. And I'm not downing any of them. It's just not their time. And I say, all right, well, when God tells you to do it, we'll be here waiting to hear your story. But it's been interesting to me. Maybe some people are more shy.
I think it's been interesting to me to see how many people come on and say they were super nervous to do it. And then afterwards, they're like, that was really fun.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, that's been great to see.
And they want to come back.
Yeah. Most of them, yeah.
I have another one. Sorry, Ezra. Nobody has ever spoken about the same thing.
Yeah, that is something I've noticed.
Yeah, we've recorded. Well, if this is number 50, and we still have a couple that we've recorded and haven't aired yet, even those aren't the same.
I don't think I can pinpoint to something specific, but to the whole thing. I can pinpoint to the whole podcast, and I'm just amazed at how God started with the book, how God first put it on your heart to share people's stories, and so I think it's just been amazing to watch how God has put all this together, and how He's using all three of us to do this, and He just supplies people to interview, and there's always somebody. We always have somebody. We're never really behind, or we're never. Like we don't have somebody. God always provides somebody that we can interview, and so I think just all of it has just kind of surprised me. Mm-hmm. So
even if we don't have someone to interview, God always provides something that we could post, like my dad or Brad doing a devotional for us,
right?
Just so that maybe we could have a week off, or prepare for our next interview.
Mm-hmm.
So
yep.
We had. I remember one person specifically. God put it on her heart to come on the podcast, and she didn't want to do it. And she said, "Well, if you want me on that podcast, you're going to have to make him ask me." And I called like 2 days later and was like, "You just popped into my mind," and she's cracking up laughing. Stuff like that. That stuff is so cool to me. I wish I would have written down all the times those weird little things have happened.
Yeah.
We should probably start.
Yeah.
Something else I wanted to mention was the devotional that you guys do.
I was getting ready to
mention that. All right, we'll go.
Yes. So, I'm sorry, Kim.
No, it's yours. Go.
Okay. So, I think Kristen is the one who started with the devotionals.
It started out with a verse a day at the beginning of this year. And then from there, it turned into a devotional every Sunday morning.
Yeah. And so Kristen and I, we have been going back and forth on the devotionals. And writing these devotionals has, I'll testify. So writing these devotionals have just shown me, I already knew that I had the ability to write, but that's like a talent and like a gift that God has given me, is to be able to write. These devotionals it's been such a blessing to be able to write them and to be able to use my ability and just what God has blessed me with. I love writing. I don't do it enough. I want to do it more, because one of my dreams is to write a book one day.
The second book, because you've already got one down.
Yeah,
so, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Like a book on your own.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting.
I definitely agree with that, and it also helps you to stay grounded in God's word.
Yes.
And just encourage people through what's happened in the Bible, and bring out different points that you see that God's shown you through those stories. Mm-hmm. It's been pretty cool to do it every other week.
And let's see, the very first devotional that I did was called Sin, the Deadly Disease. And I got that title from a book by Mark Comer called, I think it's titled like Be With Jesus, Become Like Him, Do As He Did. So basically learning how to live out the Christian faith. That's such a great book. every person who's listening should buy it and read it for sure. It'll strengthen you in your walk and just help you to go deeper with God. But yeah, Sin the Deadly Disease was my very first devotional, and I absolutely love how God gave me that and just how I was able to present it and write it. So
I think my first devotional that I wrote on the podcast was the story of being in the boat.
Yeah.
And Peter walking out to Jesus.
Yep.
That was the first one I did on the podcast. I just love the story of how you need to keep your focus on Jesus and not on the storm around you. But my very first devotional I ever wrote was "Here I Am, Send Me," and I didn't know what to do with it at the time. I had just kept it in my notes on my phone for the longest time, and then we started doing the devotionals on the podcast, and I eventually shared it there. So
that's been a cool thing for me to watch you guys not find your way, but you're trying to sort through life. And you're just trying to figure out, and I'm on the other side of it, like supposed to be the adult with the wisdom and the experience. And so I try to step back and let you guys, I shouldn't say let you guys, encourage you guys to share what God puts in you and share your individuality. Like, you're nothing if you're not who you were made to be, right? So be whoever God made you to be. But then to see you start writing testimonials and see you start to grow, and then be able to say to the world, this generation of 20-year-olds, they are not lost. They're seeking the truth. And you're such an inspiration to me, a reminder, and not just you, but other people who I know who are trying to do that. You guys are trying to find the way, and your spark is lighting a generation. It's so fun. It's fun to watch.
Speaking of growing, our stats have been pretty amazing to watch grow. Just in one of our recent episodes, that we've had, we were told that after 6 weeks, usually podcasts end. So we're like in the top 10% of podcasts right now. Because we've been doing this since December of 2024. So it's been a minute.
So can you share like where all the like to what all the different countries are that we've been? I mean, obviously we've hit Claremont County pretty good, but where else?
I won't go into like cities and stuff. I will say that the total cities that we've been in are 430 different cities.
Okay.
And we are in 59 different countries or territories, right. And only 89% of that is North America.
Wow. I know we're in Australia, and I know who's listening to us in Australia, and I thank you, Mr. Australia. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I can try and mention some of the countries. So we're obviously in the U.S., Singapore, Vietnam, Australia, Canada, India, Philippines, Germany.
Cochet d'Ivoire.
Is that in French? Like someplace in France?
I think so. Spain, United Kingdom, Ukraine, Bangladesh, Venezuela, Indonesia, Iraq, South Africa, Mexico, Italy, Ireland.
Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan. Yeah, okay.
Colombia, Panama, Israel, Brazil, South Korea, Argentina, Nepal, Lebanon, Jordan, Russian Federation, Pakistan, Grenada, Malaysia, Nigeria, Ethiopia, Egypt. There's Jamaica. There's a lot more.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That one we had a hard time pronouncing is in Africa.
Okay. Gotcha. There's a lot more. Like I said, there's 59. I can't pronounce all of them.
Yeah.
So, but it's
Isn't that
just
amazing. It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's crazy that it's reaching different countries.
That's so weird. I would love to know what they, how we got to them, and then what they got out of a podcast. If they got hope out of it,
Yeah.
if they just hated it and
Right.
thought we were awful, I don't know. But it's so interesting. If you hated us and thought we were awful, please keep it to yourself.
I also think it's pretty cool. We've only been on Apple Podcast for like a week or two, and it's already in the top 10,
Wow.
For real?
reaching to the top 5 of who listens.
Really?
Our top app that people use is Spotify, and then iHeartRadio, and it's getting up there.
Okay.
It's only been there 2 weeks, and we already have at least 94 listens on Apple Podcasts.
Okay. Wow. All right. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That is
And we
really good.
we don't have a producer. We're just the three of us and Kristen.
Yeah.
Well, including Kristen, who tries to make our sound better. But that's so cool.
It is pretty cool.
Yep.
All right. So we're wherever God takes us is where we'll go. We have a couple ideas of what we'd like to do. It's a matter of figuring out how to do it. And I guess we'll just, if God wants us there, that's where He'll put us.
Right.
So like
Yep.
public places.
Yeah.
So yeah, should we each answer the final question, or should we save that?
I think we should save that for when we do our story, because I
Okay.
think our stories are going to be coming soon.
Okay.
Yeah, I
All
do
right.
too.
Do
I
you?
do too.
Excellent.
Yeah, I've been at the moment. I've been hesitant to share my story. I haven't wanted to share it yet, but yes, I'm with Kristen. It's coming. So it's all
Yeah.
in God's timing.
I've been at the same place where I've been nervous to share my story.
Yeah.
And I think with this revival going on at church,
Yeah.
I've just got encouraged. Like, it's time.
Excellent.
Share
Yeah.
your story.
Excellent. I'll share mine whenever. We just haven't had a need to plop me in anywhere.
And I'm also waiting on God to answer more prayers and to just bring me where out of the place, so that way I am able to share it. So that's also another reason why I'm waiting. So, yeah,
Okay, whenever.
yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah.
I mean, the interesting thing, another interesting thing, this whole thing has been so interesting, but you sit down with people who you know, and there have been a few that I haven't known, but I'm sitting down with people who I pretty much know, and I find out that they have these inner struggles, or that they went through this awful thing before I met them, and they're this great person who still struggles now, but they have joy and they have hope. And I remember one of the interviews that we did, I'm looking at this person and I'm just thinking, oh my gosh. And they're like, yeah, and there's more.
Yeah.
And there's more.
Yeah.
And I just kept thinking, how are you still laughing and thriving? And they're like, they always point to Jesus. And that's so encouraging to me. I love hearing people's stories, and I hope God continues to bring us regular people who have great stories to share.
yeah,
Even though you don't think your story is great, it's great to somebody. It's great to God. He made you, for crying out loud.
And even if it's not like one of those stories where you were a drug addict or an alcoholic, just even if you were raised in the church and you became a Christian,
Right.
that's a testimony in itself that you missed all the things that this world had to offer.
Right.
yeah,
Right.
Yep.
Yes. That's a huge one. How do you do that? And I think people want to hear, like young people want to hear, how do I navigate through this? How do I, if I'm in the mess, how do I get out of the mess and not feel like pushed
Failure.
aside?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how do you stay rooted and grounded when the world is trying to shove all the pressures on you?
yeah.
Thank you guys for all your support and listening to us as we try to navigate the My Jesus Story podcast. So I'm going to log off now. Thank you guys for listening to the 50th episode. Join us next week for another encouraging testimony on My Jesus Story.